Have you ever walked out of a meeting and felt like something was off, but you could not explain why? You knew what was said. You remembered what happened. Yet somehow, by the end of the conversation, you were the one apologizing. You were the one doubting your memory, your tone, your reaction. And the strangest part is this. No one shouted. No one threatened you. But you left feeling smaller. Less certain. Less real. This is how gaslighting often shows up at work. Not as drama, but as quiet confusion. Workplace gaslighting rarely looks like manipulation from a movie. It looks like, you are overreacting. I never said that. You are too emotional. You misunderstood. And slowly, something begins to shift. You stop trusting your interpretation of events. You replay conversations at night. You wonder if your instincts are unreliable. According to Dr. Robin Stern, a psychologist at Yale University and author of The Gaslight Effect, gaslighting works by gradually eroding a person's confidence in their own perception of reality. It does not happen overnight. It happens in small moments. Repeated. Normalized. Until the person begins to rely on the gaslighter's version of truth instead of their own. Imagine this. You send a detailed report. Your manager approves it. 2 days later in a team meeting, the same manager says, "This was never finalized." Everyone turns to you. You hesitate. Because you remember the approval. But your manager sounds certain. And the room is silent. You say, "Maybe I misunderstood." That moment feels small. But something inside you shifts. Now imagine this happening again. And again. You begin documenting everything. Not because you are organized, but because you are afraid your memory cannot be trusted. This is not weakness. It is psychological self-defense. Research in cognitive psychology shows that humans depend heavily on social feedback to validate their perception of reality. When social feedback consistently contradicts personal memory, the brain experiences cognitive dissonance. A discomfort between what you know and what you were told is true. To reduce this tension, many people begin adjusting their own memory rather than challenging authority. It rarely starts with hostility. It starts with subtle reframing. You misunderstood my tone. You are too sensitive. You always jump to conclusions. Over time, these phrases create self-doubt. And self-doubt changes behavior. You stop speaking up. You overprepare. You second-guess your instincts. Eventually, you begin editing your own reality before anyone else can. This is when performance drops. Not because of incompetence, but because decision-making becomes paralyzed. A study by Professor Elizabeth Loftus, a renowned cognitive psychologist known for her research on memory, showed how easily human memory can be influenced by suggestion. Her work demonstrated that memory is not a perfect recording device. It is reconstructive. Which means in environments where doubt is planted repeatedly, people may genuinely begin to question accurate memories. But here is the deeper danger. The problem is not just that someone is distorting reality. The real damage is when you start doing it to yourself. When you silence your intuition before speaking. When you apologize before thinking. When you agree before reflecting. At that point, the external manipulation is no longer needed. You become your own editor. Centuries before modern psychology, Eastern philosophy already warned about losing clarity of perception. In Buddhism, there is a concept called right view. It is the first step of the Noble Eightfold Path. Right view is not about agreeing with others. It is about seeing clearly. Seeing what is happening without distortion from fear or desire. Thich Nhat Hanh, the Vietnamese Zen teacher known for bringing mindfulness to the West, explained that suffering often arises when we abandon direct experience and replace it with interpretation shaped by anxiety. When we stop trusting what we genuinely observe, and instead rely on narratives imposed by others, confusion grows. Gaslighting thrives in that gap between what is felt and what is allowed. Many professionals facing this dynamic report a strange loneliness. They are surrounded by people, yet feel invisible. Or worse, misunderstood. You may start to think, maybe it is just me. This mirrors findings in workplace psychology where perceived social invalidation correlates strongly with burnout and emotional exhaustion. Not workload. Invalidation. Being told your experience is incorrect creates internal instability. And instability drains energy faster than hard work ever could. Reclaiming reality does not begin with confrontation. It begins with noticing. Notice the pattern. Notice when doubt appears instantly after someone challenges your memory. Notice when your body tightens even if your mind agrees. Notice when you feel the need to over-explain. In Taoism, Lao Tzu, the ancient Chinese philosopher and author of the Tao Te Ching, wrote, "He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened." Gaslighting attacks self-knowing. So reclaiming reality is not about proving others wrong. It is about rebuilding inner reference. Instead of asking, "Am I wrong?" ask, "What did I observe?" Instead of asking, "Do they agree?" ask, "What actually happened?" This is not defiance. It is clarity. Mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, widely used today for stress and relapse prevention, trains individuals to separate observation from interpretation. A skill deeply aligned with ancient meditation practices. Observation restores stability. There is a quiet strength in being able to say, "This is what I remember." Without aggression. Without apology. Just presence. Thich Nhat Hanh taught that awareness is like a light. It does not argue. It reveals. And once something is clearly seen, its power to confuse diminishes. If this resonates with you, it may not mean you are weak. It may mean your perception has been under pressure. And the first step is not fighting. It is remembering. Remembering what you saw. What you felt. What you experienced. Clarity is not loud. But it is powerful. If this helped you see something differently, stay with us. Because learning to reclaim your inner ground may be the most important professional skill no one teaches.